What's up YouTube, it's your boy Miss Pyromaniac back again with another video. Just before I start the video, I just want to say, this is my opinion. I have played Whirlwind Barbarian for a while now. I'm level 100, so I probably know better than you. I'm just saying. So let's get straight into this. The main question is, will I be playing Barbarian in Season 1? And I'll just give you the answer, probably no. Because I was actually disappointed. Now, I know they nerfed Barbarian pretty hard. They really nerfed Barbarian, okay? And it kind of sucks now, Whirlwind Barbarian. I don't know. It has a lot of issues. I mean, it's not to the point that it's not playable. It's just not that fun anymore. First of all, let's start with leveling. Leveling as a Barbarian, Whirlwind Barbarian especially, and I think everyone already knows this, it sucks. It's really slow. You're just hitting lunging strike over and over and over and building some fury and then just spending that on Whirlwind, just to Whirlwind for like a few seconds, barely do any damage. And it takes a long time to get to a point where you actually use Whirlwind for a good amount of time and do quite some damage. That depends on two things. First of all, your fury, and then your shouts. And to solve your fury problem, you have to solve your shout problem. I mean, they're both kind of the same problem, but to solve your shout problem, you need to level up your glyph, specifically the martial glyph, which gives you a reduced cooldown on your shouts. So that means you could use your shouts faster, but most importantly, you need to get the shout ring, the ring that gives you cooldown reduction on your shouts. That is really important. Once you reduce the cooldown on your shouts, it gets a bit better. You won't have your shouts up all the time, and that's really the big problem, but you can reduce the time between the shouts, which I guess it's not as bad as it could be, but it's still kind of bad. And then you got your fury problem. Obviously, when you use your shouts, you get fury regen, and which means you get fury faster and faster. You don't run out of fury, and you also could get max fury on your items and all of that. Now, actually getting to that point takes a long time. It took me about level 60, I don't know, late 50s, something like that, just so I can Whirlwind in peace and actually do damage. And so imagine doing that in Season 1, and you're actually going to skip the story, because no one's going to do the campaign again. So you're just going to be doing the dungeons, and it's just going to be a horrible leveling experience. I don't really want to go through that again. The only reason I did it in the preseason is because I thought Whirlwind Barbarian was going to be amazing. Obviously they nerfed it, and then they nerfed Gores. I know Gores was bugged, but I mean, come on, man. It's just, I kept lying to myself. Copium, you know, it's going to get better, it's going to get better, and it does get better at level 60 and 70. I mean, it's pretty good in Nightmare Dungeons. I wouldn't say the higher tier Nightmare Dungeons, but you have pretty good clear rate for dungeons. You could clear dungeons pretty quickly later on, but reaching that point is just horrible. It's horrendous. And this gets me to my next point, which is uniques. There's not many uniques for Barb. I mean, there are, but they're just not viable. They just suck. We like, the only unique that's good was Gores, and then they nerfed it to the ground. It's like, you can't use it now. It's just not viable whatsoever. You have Temerity. I would say Temerity is the best one for Barbarian. Now, I'm saying this, I'm not including the uber uniques, the ones that will never ever drop, because I don't know what Blizzard has in mind for the uber uniques. I don't know what to say about that, but yeah, the uniques suck. Like, there's literally nothing you can use to make Whirlwind Barbarian better. Now, a big problem that I noticed with Whirlwind Barbarian, and this really deterred me away from it, like, this was a breaking point, is too reliant on vulnerable damage. And that's fine if I can actually get enemies to become vulnerable, but that doesn't happen all the time. And that just makes my damage inconsistent. Like, at some points I would crit for 1,000,000, but that doesn't happen. Like, that's very rare compared to the amount of times that I just do like 100,000, 200,000, 300,000. Maybe sometimes I even do 60,000. Sometimes it's only 3,000 because I don't crit, but you get the point. It's very inconsistent. Like there would be a pack of elites and I just delete them, and then the next pack of elites, I barely can kill them. It takes a long time, and it's just the inconsistency. It's just not it. I don't like it whatsoever. It's not for me. It just makes it worse. And I know some elites have different affixes on them that make them harder to kill, but trust me, it's a problem with Whirlwind Barbarian, okay? Because I've seen other classes and they do the same damage mostly, but Whirlwind is just too inconsistent. Next up, and this is going back to the shouts thing, without your shouts, you're basically nothing. You're 100% gonna die without your shouts in higher tier nightmare dungeons, I assure you, especially if you get stunned, because remember, you're only unstoppable when you have your shouts, and when you're not unstoppable you can get stunned. So basically what unstoppable does, if you don't know, it basically makes you immune to stuns, roots, and fear and all of that, so you don't get stunned. But without the shout, you're just immediately gonna get stunned, and when you get stunned, it's like playing League of Legends over again, man. It gives me PTSD. It's like a luck stun. You just stand there for 5 seconds and you're basically dead. Every time you get stunned in higher tier dungeons, you're dead, man. Next up is bossing. Oh my god, bossing and barbarian, just, it's horrible. And when I say bossing, like the dungeon bosses, it's fine, you could kill them easily, but the Uber Lilith, whoo, oh man, I have never seen a video of someone killing Uber Lilith with Whirlwind Barb. I'm not sure if anyone has ever done it. Maybe someone out there has done it, but god damn, it's practically impossible. I went into the fight I did not expect to kill her, alright? But I did not, you don't do any damage whatsoever. I'm trying to hit Lilith, I'm barely doing any damage, and now my build, I took the build from max roll, so it's supposed to be one of the best builds for Whirlwind Barb. I decided not to make a build preseason because I just wanted to test the game and see what other people are doing, just so I can get an idea of what to do in season 1, because in season 1 I want to make my own build, and that's what I'm going to be doing in season 1. But yeah, I mean, I tried to play around with the build because mostly it has a lot of defensive stats, like damage reduction from close enemies, damage reduction from this and from that. And so with Uber Lilith, a lot of the mechanics just one-shot you even if you have the damage reduction, so I said it's not worth it. I tried switching it around, I played with the Paragon board just to make me do more damage. Instead of having damage reduction, I just do more damage, and the damage increase wasn't that much. I mean, sure, I was critting for 200,000 more. I was doing 400,000 crits, 300,000, and that was nothing, man. Lilith has so much health, and the Whirlwind Barb just doesn't do any damage. So, I don't know, my main goal was to kill Lilith. I did not want to clear the tier 100 nightmare dungeon. My goal was to kill Lilith, and I don't think Whirlwind Barbarian at this point can do it. I've seen a lot of other classes. You have the Poison Rogue, it just shreds through Lilith. You got the Bone Spear Necro. I know the Bone Spear Necro is kind of broken and it's probably going to get nerfed, but you can see the difference. And it's just, Whirlwind Barbarian is just not it at this point in the game. Now, I will say, clearing nightmare dungeons, the Whirlwind Barbarian is much better at doing that than bossing, than single target. When you have multiple targets, you generate a lot more fury, and with the correct legendary aspects, when you generate more fury, you do more damage, and so on and so forth. But you still can't clear higher level nightmare dungeons with Whirlwind Barbarian that easily. It's so difficult, and just gotta play it really slow. I just don't like the play style, and I don't think you could clear level 100 nightmare dungeons with Whirlwind Barb. It's just I have the best in slot gear, or mostly best in slot, I just need a few stats here and there, but that won't make much of a difference, and I can barely do like level 60 nightmare dungeons. So I can't imagine my Whirlwind Barb doing a level 100 nightmare. It's just too much. Like, the class is very mid. You won't go far in the endgame with Whirlwind Barb. I will say though, there are good things about it, like the style. I really like the spin to win style. It's so chill. You just go in, you spin to win, and oh my god, like when it works and when you get good crits, it feels so good. You just mow down enemies. But that doesn't happen a lot of times. A lot of times I just find myself barely doing any damage and then getting stunned and then getting killed. That's it. And I just want to break my freaking laptop when that happens, man. So yeah, I just won't be playing Whirlwind Barb. I mean, again, they're probably gonna do some buffs and nerfs to different classes. And we'll have to see what happens before Season 1, but for now, I plan on playing Rogue. Let me tell you, man, from what I've seen, I've leveled a Rogue for a bit. Leveling up with a Rogue is super quick, and like the Rogue is good early game, mid game, and end game. Meanwhile, the Barb is terrible at early game. It's pretty good at mid game, I'd say, and at end game, it just falls down again. So Rogue is just good at everything. I've seen Rogues kill Lilith pretty easily with the poison. I think poison is OP. Honestly, if they don't nerf that, I'm definitely going to be playing a poison Rogue. And Rogues can clear Nightmare Dungeon 100. Now the thing with Rogues, I did not play a Rogue because I thought they would die easily. But it's the other way around. Barbs die way too easily, while Rogues just run around quickly and they don't die. You have a lot of defensive things you could do with Rogue. It's really viable. And the thing with Rogue is, if you play Rogue and they nerf something, there are other viable builds. But with Barbarian, I mean, sure, we have Hota, and we have another build, I forgot what it was, Rend or some shit like that. But, I mean, who's gonna play that? It's freaking boring, man. It's really boring. But with Rogue, it's super fun. You got different builds and stuff. But yeah, that's basically it. I'm really disappointed in Whirlwind Barb. I hope they buff it again. If they do, I'm probably gonna try it again in the future. Maybe in Season 2, maybe in Season 1 after I get my Rogue to level 100. But yeah, that was basically it. Those were my thoughts for Whirlwind Barb. Now, would I recommend you play it for Season 1? Personally, I would say no, but honestly, if you like the class, if you like the spin to win aspect of the Whirlwind Barb, then just go for it. I mean, at the end of the day, you just want to have fun, and if you have fun with that, then hey, do it. That was all for today's video. I hope you liked it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.